So this is my lab on enumeration. Enumeration is the collection of system information for identification purposes, and penetration testers usually examine systems in their entirety to evaluate the security weaknesses. So in order to start, we're going to launch Kali Linux, the virtual machine, to access the graphical login screen. And we're going to log in. And then we're going to launch WinOS to access the other graphical login screen. This is going to be the target machine. So we're going to select this and log in as administrator. And enter in the password. So switching back to the Kali machine, we're gonna make sure that the host machine is on the same network as the target machine. And now we're gonna start the lab. We're gonna launch Nmap, and we're gonna navigate to Whisker menu, information gathering, and go to network and port scanners. And select Nmap. And now the Nmap application, it appears as a command line terminal and displays all the switches that can be used to perform scanning. Here, yeah, this is all familiar from the past few labs. And now we're gonna type out and enter. So -S and capital P means ping sweep scan, and the result will list the host within the specific range that responded to a ping. Yeah, learning from my past mistakes, always take care of the capitalization when writing. Nmap scans all the nodes on the given network range and displays all active hosts. And we see the results from the subnet, and it appears that IP addresses .20, .30, .100, and .254 are active, so basically the same as what we've shown in the lab, which means the IP address 192.168.0.2 is the Kali Linux host and will not be included in the list, so it's part of the subnet. So there are 4 active hosts on the network, and now that we've obtained open ports along with the services running, we can attempt to enumerate the versions of each running service on the ports by performing an SYN scan with the version detection switch enabled. So now we're going to type out the next command, nmap ssv-0 with the IP address 192. So this is the IP address for this specific lab. So this command initiates a SYN scan with version detection along with OS detection. Version detection collects information about the specific service running on an open port, including the product name and the version number. So over here we see OS and service detection performed, and the results, we see them as running Linux 3.x and 4.x and port state service. These are the open ports and the OS details and the network distance 1 hop over here. And now we're going to repeat this process but with different IP addresses. And this is the first one. And we're going to press enter. And we're going to wait for this to scan and look at the different results that we get. The scan is done here. Now we're gonna perform the next scan. There were some things different in here, like ports with the same, the state was the same with the service. Instead of VNC, it said domain with a question mark, and we're gonna see what that means. And here, 10, 100, and this is our next scan. The scan is done over here, and we see ports 22, 443, 444, and 514 open. So these are the remaining active hosts. And to performing these services to enumeration, we're gonna be able to search vulnerability associated with that particular application and exploit them to gain access to the target machine. And now we're going to enumerate a network using SuperScan. So switching back to Windows Virtual Machine, we're gonna click on Toolbox, and in Windows File Explorer, we're gonna click on SuperScan and then SuperScan 4.1.exe to launch the application. So this is going to help us gather some useful information about the target systems on the network. So first we're going to click on Windows enumeration and then enter the IP address and then click enumerate. And then over here we have our results. Once the scan is completed, a message is gonna, enumeration complete, so which means our scan is complete. And now we're gonna scroll back up to see the results of the enumeration. And it says attempting a null session connection on this IP address. So the Windows VM is vulnerable to a null session attack, and we see records from RPC, remote procedure calls endpoint. Over here. And we're gonna scroll the window to look for domains on this IP address. Here, SuperScan identified that WinOS as the primary domain controller. Here. So this enumeration scan was specific to Windows, so now we're gonna try and perform a new enumeration scan against a Linux host. So we're gonna click on this. For that, we're gonna click on this tab, then the connect button to change the scan type from an SYN to a TCP connect scan. Because the TCP connect scan attempts to perform a full three-way mingle with the target ports and tells us whether a port is open based on the response. So we're gonna set up and run the scan, and we're gonna click on the scan tab and enter the IP address. And the target address has been inserted in here. And now we're going to click the start button to initiate the enumeration scan. And we're going to be able to see our HTML results over here, the final. Once the scan is complete. And we're going to analyze this. Still a long way to go in terms of understanding, but yeah. So this report opens in our web browser, and this is our information. And in item 1, the red highlighted boxes, the scan captured the NetBIOS name and the OWASP BWA, and it indicates that it is part of a workgroup and not a domain. In the below purple highlighted boxes, we can see the details about the open TCP ports and the services they're running. Item 3, the line below the first few purple boxes, it lists the open UDP ports and the services that they're running. And UDP port 137 is running the NetBIOS service, which is where SuperScan got the NetBIOS name. And the next section of this report shows the banner grabbing attempt for each of the ports mentioned above. Port 22 and then port 80, and all the details here. Port 22 and 80, and we've dealt with all of these over here. And this banner information for the UDP port reveals the NetBIOS name table, and it shows all the names, the workgroups, and the domain names here. And so in this exercise, we learned how to enumerate NetBIOS names and grab banners.